Hey guys, I'm Casper and welcome to my first tutorial video. So in this video I'm going to show you my approach to achieve this particular style with typography and other design elements being camera projected on 3D scene. I'm going to use Cinema 4D and OCTANE renderer. I'm sure you can achieve it with other renderers, it is just my preference. To be straight honest with you guys, camera projection technique I learned from one talented artist you all should check out. His name is Cornelius Dammrich, I hope I pronounce it right. He's doing extra complicated stuff with Cinema 4D, it is just crazy. I will leave his details in the description so you guys can check him out. I will comment on top of my pre-recorded video. I have script ready, I am reading from it right now to make everything as clear as possible for you guys. I have never recorded my voice before, don't judge me too much. I will leave some timestamps in the description so you can skip tutorial to the part you need and let's get into it. To begin with, for you who don't know, Adobe Mixamo is a great place to quickly rig and animate your characters. I have been using it in my posts on Instagram. It is free and it has quite big selection of character models to start from. Technically, you can create the whole movie only using its models and animations. For this specific tutorial though, I'm going to use Adobe Fuse, where you can easily design your own character. As it is linked with Mixamo, with just one button press you can send it to be automatically rigged, and then you just need to find your pose or animation for your character and download it. I am not going into details, just giving you a glimpse of what you can achieve by using it. I have not touched many options myself. You can upload your own clothing, add some other elements. I think it is just amazing and such an easy way to build a character, get it rigged and animated in literally minutes. I have downloaded and imported my animated character to Cinema 4D. And as I scroll through the timeline, you can see it has some rig issues. It is not a big problem and I will fix it just in a few seconds. Make sure you're on a frame of your preferred pose. Go to the timeline window and just select and hit delete button on the rest of animation. I grouped all the layers and copy pasted in on the new project, then adjusted some settings for the portrait mode. It is 1080 for width and 1350 for height. Keep in mind, image size is going to be important as we will do some calculations later on. Just remember to save your project file, guys. It is quite weird issue with this rig, it will take just a minute to fix it. You can always adjust your pose, you don't have to look for perfect animation on Mixamo. Just find something close enough and adjust it yourself how you want it. Next thing is to build a little scene. Create a plane, add a bend tool, fit it to a parent, rotate few times so it bends on the correct angle. Don't forget to check the button to keep y-axis length. Make it a little bit bigger so it can cover big area. Adjust the segments to smooth it out, and we got a little photo studio now. Next thing is to do some minor adjustments, like putting the character on the floor as it floats a little bit now. I added camera straight away and positioned it roughly where I want it to be. Composition and character pose is quite important in this, so give yourself some time and play around it. I have adjusted some camera settings as well. I decreased hot pixel removal to 0.3, increased saturate to white a little bit. I will not go into the details what each setting means as it could be a whole another video for it. In OCTANE camera settings, change it from direct lighting to path tracing for more accurate reflections and lighting. I use low settings as we want to render out our current image as a guideline for the next part in Photoshop. So after you're done with your character pose and composition, Render it out, and let's advance to the other part of the tutorial. Bring your rendered image to Photoshop and start playing with typography. I'm going to use slogan "Keep it simple" for this tutorial. If you wonder where I get my typefaces, I search for them on dafonts.com. They have a lot to choose from, and all of them I think are free within the license for non-commercial projects. Don't be scared to cover all your character in type. It is going to be projected on top of it anyways. In my case, I do not want to block the face with the type only, because I will apply separate texture on top, meaning it might crop out the text. Take your time to position it right how you like it. Don't polish it too much though, as for now we only need some base design to continue with our tutorial. We will get back to finish it off later on. For my color schemes, I use colors.co. I found it easy to use. You can log the colors and keep on generating others till you find what you like. I will use light blue, or maybe you can call it baby blue, for my background. If you're using colors.co or other website of your preference, just copy the hex code from there and then just fill in the layer with it on top of the rendered image, and save the file as .bsd so we can adjust it effortlessly later on. After you're finished with your design, let's get back to Cinema 4D. I'm going to create a new OCTANE glossy material. In the diffuse, add an OCTANE image texture. Go into its settings and press UV transform and projection buttons to add them. Let's go to node editor now, and guys, this step is important. As I said before, I learned this from Cornelius Dammrich. He had a whole explanation for why we do those calculations in his tutorial. I'm not going into the detail just to save the time. So long story short, in your transform node, tick off the log aspect ratio and on scale x-axis type 0.5. We can keep it as it is for all projections, as it will work on all aspect ratios. The only calculation is going to happen to y-axis. The way you calculate it, divide 0.5, your x-axis, by width of your aspect ratio, in our case it's 1080, and then multiply by your height, 1350, we get result of 0.625, and type it in the y-axis field. For the next, let's go to texture projection node and change it from mesh UV to perspective. Then expand position bar and switch it to world space. On perspective, use mouse icon you can find on the right and select your camera. We are almost done setting up the projection camera. Let's add our design to image texture and apply material to the plane we made earlier. As you can see, it works pretty well. The only issue is that projection is upside down and we need to rotate it 180 degrees on z-axis in the transform node. Here we go, we are finished with our projection mapping. Let's apply the same material to our character model. On this video I will put it only on the top and bottoms and add other separate textures for body parts like hair, shoes and the hat as well. As our projection is done, we can adjust the composition slightly to our liking and change some preferences in the material. I will put some roughness and decrease the specular as well. We can't see too many details on clothing, so I am going to duplicate projection material and use normal maps and other provided textures from the character model itself. When you download the animation from Mixamo, it comes as a single file, but as soon as you put it in the Cinema 4D, it creates a folder with all the textures in it, and we are going to use them now. In my example, my character has a shirt and shorts. For those, I'm going to apply projection mapping material with all the textures in it. And for the rest, shoes, hat and body parts, I'm going to create separate materials using provided textures. So after we finish texturing, Let's make the scene more alive and add some lighting. For it, I'm going to use an HDRI to add more reflections and brighten the scene. I cannot remember where did I get them exactly, as I've been collecting random resources for years now. Probably it's Video Copilot, I am not sure. I will add one light behind the character as well, and I will hide it from the camera and turn its opacity down so only light is going to be reflected. For additional lighting, I will copy and paste previous light and put it above the scene to make some sort of gradient for more interesting look. To finish it off, I'm going to quickly adjust my character's pose and continue to the next bit where we are going to add some more design elements. As we head back to Photoshop, I am not going to overcomplicate this design for the sake of the video. I'm going to keep it simple. You get it? It's my slogan, right? Yeah. Anyways, take your time guys on this, play with your design, come up with something cool. You can always pause the video and come back, and when you do, just reload your image texture and it should be there. For some extra details, you can add some displacement maps. You can either create your own or either buy or find some free ones online. It does add quite a lot to the image. It makes it pop a little bit. It doesn't look as flat. So we are pretty much done in Cinema 4D. Let's render it out with higher settings and then do some final touches in Photoshop. When you're done, put your render into Photoshop and convert it to a smart object. It is easier to get back to already applied effects and adjust them later on. I'm going to use Camera Raw. It has everything you really need for color correction and other stuff. Play around with it, just don't overuse texture and clarity filters. It might look good, but it's easy to tell when you overdo it. I like my images really bright and detailed, and you can easily achieve it with Camera Raw filters. I have noticed at the end my character's hair is going through the hat. I'm just going to double click on my smart layer and paint it over with Clone Stamp tool and save it. Here we go guys, we've done it. Thank you for sticking around to the end. I hope you learned something new, and if you did, I would appreciate if you would leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If it gets enough attention guys, I might be able to do more tutorial or tip videos for you later on. We will see. Thank you for watching and hopefully see you soon.